Alrighty guys, welcome back. We had just finished up the American flag for you and gotten everything lined out and looking good. Like I said before, you can run with it like this, or if you want to grab hold of your colored pencils, let's go ahead and add some color to this stuff. Alrighty, we're going to do the blue field up here first. And the whole thing with this is, I'm just lightly pressing down for right now, just to get the blue color in place. It's a wonderful thing about having colored pencils is you can press down really light and you get a really light color. Press down a little bit harder and it's a little bit darker color. A little bit harder and you get a really sharp dark color in there. Press down real hard and you break your pencil, so be real careful about that. Don't press down too hard. But right now all we're doing is we're just trying to get some color on the field in between all those stars. Down. If you need to clean up an edge like that, just hit that edge real light. And all those little nooks and crannies and little crevices going on there. There is a whole lot going on the American flag. And what we can do after we get the overall bluing in place, I'll show you here in a second on the curve on this edge and then on the fold coming back out, how you can darken it up just a little bit or a whole lot depending on how you want your light to cast. There we go. These guys all colored in here. Start seeing a lot of that texture come out. The stars are really starting to pop there. There we go. Alrighty. Again, going through and just touching up little spots real light, not pressing down too hard, just making sure you've got all the color you need filled in just right. There we go. Alrighty, now I was telling you about doing the darker shadowing, shading parts. From here, we can come over here and press down just a little bit harder on that edge and then lighten it up. So real kind of pressing down hard and then getting lighter and lighter and lighter as you go in. So pressing down hard, lighten it up. And you can see how that starts to build that shadow feeling, things that are curving around there. There we go. Same thing for back here. Do real dark because there's a good shadow back over there. And as you go out from that dark spot, you just lighten up a little bit on the pressure. Lighten up. Sometimes it takes a little bit of practice to get real comfortable with being able to do that, but once you get it down pat, it's not a problem. Alright, we've got our blue in place. Next, we're going to go for the red. And there it is. Alright, grab your red crayon or your red colored pencil, marker, whatever you're going to be using. Come on in here and we'll do the red. Now remember, when you start off at the bottom of the American flag, the first stripe at the bottom is red. You should end at the top with a red stripe as well. So get these all colored in. And let's just go straight up. Now, starting off as a red stripe at the very bottom, that means that when you hit that last stripe right before the blue field, it's going to be white. There's a white stripe that runs at the base of that blue field. So it's white here, then red, And we're going to work it all the way up. And again, I'm just adding medium pressure here. Not a whole lot of pressure going on. It's not real light, but it's not real hard either. I'm just trying to get the color on the paper. And after you get color on the paper, then you can go back and start adding your shadows and your highlights and everything else that you need. And there we have it. See? Top stripe is red. I actually counted correctly. That is amazing. Anybody who's known me all throughout high school, study hard in math. There we go. Finish these guys up here. And again, it really depends on how much detail you want to put into it. If you don't have an exact number of stars, or you don't have the exact number of stripes, that's okay. It's alright. It's not a problem. It's one of the things that's awesome about the American flag is that it really stands out and you really get a good gist of what you're looking at, regardless of how many, if you have the exact amount or not. Alright, now as of right now, that's your basic American flag. Everything is in place. What we can do is we can come back in, same thing as we did here, and add a little bit of dark pressure and just lighten it up. Dark here at the edge, and we'll lighten that up. Same thing. Again, kind of following that curve around. You should lighten up. Now back in here, this is going to be a really darker area all the way around. So let's go ahead and just really darken that spot in. And I'll show you something else here with that 6B, that really light, or that really soft lead that I keep talking about. It's fantastic when you're trying to do shadowing and getting a really good value scale into the pieces that you're working on. One of my absolute pencils. I would not work without it. Again, dark at that edge and lighten it up on the pressure. Dark at the edge, lighten up as you pull away from that edge. Here we go. Alrighty, now as it is, we can leave that if you want to, that's not a problem. However, what I would suggest would be coming back in with your 6B or your soft lead pencil. Come back over here. What we're going to do is in this back area, we're just going to come in here and really lightly shadow in, even across the white. Real light pressure, not a whole lot of pressure at all. Now where I'm going to start adding darker pressure is right in this little crevice, right through here. That's where that tight fold comes around on that flag as the wind's blowing through it. So there's not going to be a whole lot of light cast inside there, so it's going to be a little darker. There we go. Sometimes you can take your finger after you get some of the graphite on there and just kind of blend it around a little bit. It kind of smooths everything out. Alright, that right there. Looking good. Okay, we're just going to do this back over here. We're going to actually color over top of our blue a little bit, darken it up even further. You don't want to cover it up completely. You want to make sure that blue shows through. But you can press down, just kind of getting some darkness in there, and really make it look like there's a fold. There we go. You can even come down here real light across the white. Barely even putting pressure. There we go. Just like that. And that's going to show a little bit of that shadow right there, and then you can come back in and do the same thing for the red. Take your finger again, just pull. There we go. Let's curve this around. Again, just real light pressure. You don't want it to be too dark in there. You don't want to blend all of this together that you just did. Okay, now see how this curves around? The fabric kind of curves back around. So at this edge right here, we're going to do a little bit of a shadow. Very, very light shadow. Right through here. It's very light. Just enough to add a little hint. Fool the eye into thinking that it's an actual three-dimensional object folded around. That's the fun part of art. Go. Again, up and down the line here. If you go over top of these stars with a little bit of that light graphite from this pencil, that's fine too, because just like we did down here, these stars are going to have a little bit of shadow to them right around that edge. Alrighty, see how dark that is? That's really standing out between the two. It's one of those things you can leave it like this if you want to, or you can come back in and do the whole thing like this and really pop it out, make it really stand out. So let's go ahead and complete it. We'll finish these guys up over here. Getting real light on the white. A little darker, a little heavier on the edge, or lighten as we go. There we go. Real light. I'll go ahead and do all the white first since it's similar pressure. That way I'm not going harder, softer. This works out better. A lot easier. You take your finger and you can pull that graphite out. There we go. Now on the red, since you're already coloring over top of color, it takes a little more pressure than it does on the white. There we go. And lighten it up as you go out. And this is one of those things that if you're not comfortable with it just yet, that's okay. Practice. Grab a sheet of paper and just do nothing but lines and lines and lines of this. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. What that'll do is I'll get you comfortable with it. And once you're comfortable with it, you'll be able to do this in your sleep. I know you can. Again, that's that back fold that comes back around. There's not a whole lot of light back there. So we're going to kind of color this in a little darker than we have everything else. There we go. Alrighty, that's looking like an American flag to me, folks. Okay, back over here, if you want to continuously add a little bit more of that shadow, you can come back in here with that soft lead, dark on that edge, and lighten it up as you get further away from it. And you're just following the contour of that line. Okay. I'm just doing a real light, barely even touching the paper. And as I get closer to that line, I'll do it a little darker. There we go. Start showing a curvature to that pole there. And that ball right here goes over top of that pole. So let's make this cast a little shadow. Just like that. Okay, again, take that finger. Pull it down. There you go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, there's your American flag right there. You can come back in if you want to with your kneaded eraser, and we can knead it out just a little bit, get a nice fine point. If you want to add a little bit of a highlight, you can even come in and kind of erase just a little bit on that edge as it pops up. Just a tad. See how that's kind of lightening up right there, and that gives you a little bit more of a highlight to show that that's pushing out here where the shadow is dipping down further back. Come over here, any kind of edge you want, just take it off right there, clean it up a little bit, and there you have it. It's an American flag, folks. Really, really simple. The whole key is make sure you start off with your S curve down here at the base, and then make sure everything follows that curve. All of your lines need to follow the first curve you do down here at the bottom, and as it curves around, counting, very important, 13 stripes, 50 stars, and you're not seeing all 50 of these stars. Why? Because you have some of them that are back behind that edge. As this fabric curves back around, there are extra stars that are hidden back in this fold. So you don't have to do all 50 stars. That's not a problem right there. So, you guys, it's been a pleasure. Enjoy the American flag, and whether you use it for Independence Day, Memorial Day, or just to give to someone who you love and care about who is serving in our country, either or is fantastic. I guarantee this being drawn by you guys, and I guarantee they're going to love it. Absolutely love it. So, thanks again, and we'll see you next time.